Hey guys, Mr. 3D Hero here. In today's video from my Loadout series, I'm bringing you a loadout that is particularly just a very fun but very stupid loadout. Something I had a quick look over, something I just quickly thought of, and something I just said to myself that, you know, maybe if I apply this, maybe it'll bring something good out of it. And this loadout I like to call is the Lonestar loadout. And the whole point of this Lonestar loadout is that it focuses on everything within your gear to have star at the end of it. So, L-Star, Northstar, Gravity Star, and Fire Star. It's a shame that there's no more stars in the trick, as I could probably call it an all-star loadout. But we just make do with what we got. But anyways, let's go into the main loadout. The class we're going to be using is Phase Shift. Phase Shift will basically allow us to phase in and out of danger. It basically allows us to survive a bit more longer, and it's what many say a get out of free card class. Now, it's up to you how you want to use it. You can use Phase Shift, or you can use Stim. I recommend that you use Phase Shift as your main primary weapon, the L-Star. In some situation, and depending on your perk, the L-Star will overheat. And using Phase Shift will basically allow you to phase out of that danger zone, cool down your weapon, and then phase back in, and then finish off that target. And at the same time, it is quite a cool looking pilot class. Primary now is the L-Star, like I previously stated. One problem with the L-Star though is that the L-Star does overheat if you don't have the right perks on it. So if you are someone that wants to go into the loadout and want to try out the L-Star, I recommend first that you unlock extended mag, and you also unlock quick reload. These two perks here will basically allow your weapon to not only fire longer, but also allow you to, cool down your weapon at a much quicker rate. So this basically means that you can go off and kill a bunch of people, probably about 3 to 4 players, within a short amount of time, and it basically means that you won't have to ever worry about it overheating. And if it does overheat, like I said, you just always Phase Shift. If you don't want to go with this perk, you always go with Gunrunner. Gunrunner is quite good with this weapon, as one thing I've learned with it is that you don't want ADS with the weapon unless you have to at long distances, and you only do that at long distances if that person's standing still. If the person's not standing still, I recommend that you always hip fire with this weapon. Use it as a very big SMG, best way I can describe it. And your success chance of getting more kills with the weapon will be increased by tenfold. Your secondary weapon now will be the Archer. The Archer has been recently buffed, so its damage has been increased, and its lock-on rate has also been increased. So basically, it's one of the top tier secondary weapons to be used in game against Titans. And let me tell you, it's a very strong, powerful, but very annoying secondary weapon that I believe should be nerfed, because it was completely fine how it was before. Although the lock-on was a bit long, it didn't need to be increased further to make it that broken. Now they either nerf it so that the damage has been halved, or they nerf it back to its previous state where the lock-on was much slower, but its damage stays the same. But that's what I went with. You don't have to go with the Archer. You can also go with the Thunderbolt as well. The Thunderbolt is also great for building up your Titan meter, if that's what you'd like to go instead. If that's what you'd like to go instead. Boost now. Our boost is going to be either Amp Weapon. Amp Weapon will basically allow us to increase our damage for both primary and secondary. And let me tell you, increasing your damage for both L-Star and Archer is quite ridiculously stupid. Like, if a Titan's in a doom state and you have an amped Archer, it will always be a one-shot. And your L-Star shoots out mini red electrical balls of death that kills them within a short amount of time. I believe it kills them within 3 to 2 hits instead of it being a 3 to 4 hits. So if that's what you want to go with Amp Weapon. If you don't, you can always go with the Spicy Mines. The Spicy Mines will always back up your side. They'll always be there for you, and they'll always, well, not always, but in some cases will always catch out enemy pilots when they're not looking. I recommend that you throw it into an area where they don't see it, such as going behind them when you flank them, and watching as they get completely spicy on the battlefield. Titan now is going to be a Northstar, obviously. Our pilot kit is going to be Power Cell and Kill Report, and the Ordnance now can be either Gravity Star or Fire Star. I choose either Gravity Star depending on the type of situation. So if I know a group of enemies are going to be camping within a building, I'll go Gravity Star. Or if I'm going up against Titan play mainly, I'll use Fire Star for great way of blocking the Titan's visuals. But it's kind of up to you how you want to go with it. Gravity Star is quite useful for getting your Lonestar projectiles to go wherever you want. Although at times it can be quite flimsy, as it will catch out your shots and it will fire it into different locations, and this basically means that it's not always guaranteed to kill that enemy pilot. It does give off a nice little firework display, and if that's what you like, go with Gravity Star and Lonestar. If not, go with Fire Star and Lonestar. But it's kind of up to you how you want to go with it. So the main loadout, the main gameplay of this is quite simple. You're generally just an all-star pilot. You love using your Lonestar, you love using your Northstar, and you love using your Gravity Star or Fire Star. And you want to show the frontier what you're made of. So it's quite simple how you want to go about this. Go into a game mode, any game mode you like, preferably attrition or skirmish, and you just want to go and wreak havoc. Now, like I said, Lonestar is quite a good weapon. Do not ADS with the Lonestar whatsoever. I'd always recommend that you hip fire with it. If you hip fire with the Lonestar, you have a better chance of landing your shots, and you have a better chance at killing pilots. Like I said before, only ADS with the weapon if a pilot is standing still, and if you have a clear chance of hitting them in small and narrow areas. If they're up close and they're running at you, don't ADS with the weapon. Always hip fire with it, because you'll be quite surprised of how accurate it is when he's hip fired. In dangerous situation, then you can always switch to your phase shift, and your phase shift will always save your life whenever and however you like it. Do remember though, you only have 2 charges, so if you want to increase this, by all means, maybe put in Tactical onto your Lonestar. But do be aware you only have 2 perks, and your Lonestar is quite flimsy at killing many pilots in big groups without overheating. So do be aware of what type of perks you want to go with for your weapon, as it will generally affect the overall gameplay and how successful you are with taking on other pilot. Your tick mines now will be great for either clearing out areas or just cause a complete nuisance on the battlefield. Or if you want to go with that, your amp weapon will be also very useful, as having a one-shot archer is quite a ridiculously stupid but fun little secondary to use. And then your Titan, your Northstar. Your Northstar now will basically allow you to wreak as much havoc as possible. And with the completely new Northstar that looks even more, so I say, sexier and delicious to look at and use, I recommend that you go with your Northstar and go with perks that you feel generally quite at ease with. I usually go with cluster rockets, as that allows me to clear out areas that many pilots tend to hide up in areas. So yeah, I tend to stick with cluster missiles. Cluster missile allows me to clear out areas that I think pilots might be hiding in, and allows me to take out grunts as well if there's no pilots nearby. And like I said, as always, you want to be aware of when you're using Northstar, as Northstar, although quite quick, he's quite flimsy and weak. He's good at long distances, but in close range situations, he's quite dangerous. He's quite useless. And against pilots like Northstar, other Northstar players, or up against Ion or Total, or just against any other Titan, you are at quite a disadvantage depending on how well they are. So if you want to avoid these type of engagements, make sure that you try to stay back as far as possible. Make sure that you always fully charge your sniper rifle to do as much damage as you can, as one shot can always take out a full health bar. And also make sure that you use your terror traps. Your terror traps are literally your lifesavers. It allows you to get out of danger and situation as quickly as possible. So if a Ronin player decides to close in on you, use your terror trap, then use your cluster missile, then back away, fire at them, and then just quickly run away. Usually the Ronin player will chase after you, but if you have some buddies on the field that have their Titans down as well, you can just lure them into there, and generally there, Ronin will pretty much be dead, and you'll be able to carry on your slaughter. Also, I do forget to say that your power cell, you also have your pilot kit. One of your pilot kit is power cell. Power cell basically allow you to recharge your phase shift at a quick, not a very quick, but at an averagely quick pace. So if you rack up kills, or if you combine it with tactical as well, it basically means that you will have infinite phase shift with you at all times. This basically means that you can go completely ham on other pilots using your Lonestar and your Archer, and completely stay untouched as long as you rack up the kills and as long as you use your phase shift when needed. Lastly now, you do have your Gravity Star and your Fire Star. It depends on the type of situation of which one you want to use. Gravity Star is ideal for either taking out pilots that are either chasing you, or taking out pilots that are aiming at you, or taking out pilots that are in a closed area with other grunts. And then this basically allows you to use your L-Star that has quite a vivid destruction to it when combined with Gravity Star, and completely melt them in one go. But if the Gravity Star is not your thing, because I know for a fact that Gravity Star, although good, it doesn't always go within your favor. For example, if you feel at a building and the enemy is not exactly by the window, and you throw it at that building, but they get sucked up onto the wall, it basically means that you basically wasted your Gravity Star, and it basically means that the enemy, although damaged, will be able to get away, and you lose your kill. But like I said, instead, if you don't want to use that, go ahead and use your Fire Star. Your Fire Star is also great. It allows you to cut off areas that you think enemies may be coming at, so doorways, passageways, entrances, anywhere generally. It also allows you to throw it at Titan, and allows you to blind them for a few seconds, but this few seconds does actually provide you enough time for you to escape, and it also allows you to either be on the offensive, defensive, and also allows you to do a bit of damage if your main secondary is done and your main primary is not doing enough damage. And in general, the L-Star is just quite a really good ordnance that I recommend a lot of players to go off and use. Quite tricky to use though, but if you're really good, you can do some really good ninja plays with it. So that's the end of the video. I do hope you enjoyed it, as I'll be doing more loadouts like this in the nearby future. If you did like the content, then by all means leave a like in the like section. If not, then leave a dislike. By all means, if you leave a dislike, I will understand. I will improve upon this, and I will make sure that my next loadouts will be much better than the previous. So if you did enjoy the content, please leave a like, a comment, maybe dislike if you wanted to, and even subscribe. Subscribing really does help my channel out a lot. So thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon.